Good morning, dear second year medical students. Today we are going to discuss and explore together the third lesson of the listening and speaking skills of Unit 5 entitled Environment. Explore together some listening skills. So, please open your unlocked student book on page 95. Listening to. On page 95, you are going to have a picture showing some wind power plants with a text below it. We are going to read this text together. Please denote and focus on the words in bold. I'm underlining them in my slide, but you are going to find them in bold in your student book. Many people think wind power has many benefits. It provides an environmentally friendly form of energy which does not pollute the environment. Also, unlike coal mines or nuclear power plants, they are unlikely to cause accidents and never leads to disasters. Therefore, there is a very low risk of danger. Most importantly, this source of energy is affordable. However, opponents of wind power argue that the wind turbines can have a negative effect on the environment. They say that a turbine takes up a lot of space. Another point is that the wind turbines are not a long-term source of energy, unlike nuclear power plants. Now, match the definitions below to the suitable words in bold in exercise 1 in the text which I have read so far. The first one is solved for you. Advantages, when you look at the text, you can find the suitable word for it is benefit. It matches it. Number 2, the possibility of something bad happening. It's a risk. Number 3, to supply something to someone. Provides. Number 4, continuing for a long time. Long term. Number 5, a terrible accident that causes a lot of damage. Disasters. Number 6, good for the environment. Environmentally friendly. Where something comes from. Source. Not expensive. Affordable. Someone who disagrees with an idea. These are opponents. And finally, to make something like air or water dirty or harmful, pollute. Now, you are going to listen to a debate. It's audio extract 5.5. It's speaking about advantages and disadvantages of using nuclear energy. Before listening, please, can we work our minds together and put a list of advantages and disadvantages of nuclear energy? Let's think together. What are the advantages of using nuclear energy? Let's say, for example, there are no polluting gases. On the other hand, the fossil fuels like the coal, like the oil, the petrol, when you burn them, when you ignite them, they produce polluting fumes. So the nuclear energy has no polluting gases. What are other advantages? They do not contribute to global warming. That's the nuclear energy. There is no global warming. There is no heat coming out from burning because there is no burn in the nuclear energy. It's a clean source. it does not produce heat. So, not contribute to the global warming. The third one, they are relatively cheap. There are no expenses for, the extraction from the deeper layers of the soil and the transportation of these fuel for long distances. So it's relatively cheap. But what are the disadvantages of the nuclear energy? The other face of the coin. Using nuclear energy has a waste, and this waste is radioactive. And this radioactive, you need to have a safe disposal of these radioactive wastes. And to do a safe disposal, this is difficult and expensive. The other thing, we agreed that it does not contribute to the global warming, but they use water to calm down the nuclear power plants. So they produce local thermal pollution of the waste water. This might affect the marine life. A water source has to absorb the temperature of the nuclear power plants, and this wastewater affects the marine life. Finally, accidents can be catastrophic, like the Fukushima power plant disaster in Japan and the well-known Chernobyl catastrophe. So accidents, although they are very few, but they can be catastrophic. Now, listen to audio extract 5.5. Listen carefully. And then let's answer together these questions. After listening, number one, it says, what are the two reasons why one speaker mentions the Fukushima nuclear power plant in Japan? When you listen carefully, you will find that the speaker mentioned the Fukushima nuclear power plant first to say that the nuclear power plants can be dangerous and even catastrophic, and also to give an example of long-term effects of a nuclear disaster. What three arguments are mentioned in favor of nuclear energy? In the audio extract, you will find that the speaker, favoring the use of nuclear energy, said that it's relatively cheap, it does not pollute the air because there are no fumes, and also it can supply a lot of electricity for a long time. So it's a long-term source of energy. Question number 3. Nuclear energy can help developing countries in two ways. The speaker said the nuclear energy can help developing countries by, first, they can export the energy, and they can be independent of gas and oil prices. So if a country has scarce resources of gas and oil, they no longer do need them, because they become independent of them. They don't need these sources of energy because they have nuclear energy, and this is a long-term source of energy. So they can export the energy, and they no longer need the gas and oils. So they are independent of the gas and oil fluctuating prices. Now, let's discuss together a listening sub-skill. It's called listening for counter arguments. During a debate or a discussion, you will usually encounter counter arguments. Counter arguments means an earlier idea which is mentioned is going to be followed out by an idea which is against it. This is called the counter argument. It means in a debate between two or more, when one mentions an idea and there is another one who is opposing this idea, he is going to mention an argument against this earlier idea. This is called a counter argument. How do I know that this is a counter argument? You will find a counter argument word or phrase denoting that the sentence coming after this word or phrase is going to be against the earlier idea. These words or phrases are like despite that. However, but when you find these counter argument words or phrases, the sentence after these are called the counter argument ideas. And the idea before them is the argument idea or the earlier idea. These are counter arguments. An argument and then a counter argument word or phrase and then a sentence which is opposite to the earlier one. Now let's have some exercises on counter arguments. Let's read the extracts from 1 to 3. It says, some people are worried that nuclear power is a big risk. Despite that. So despite that is a counter argument word or phrase. So the idea before it is the earlier idea. Is the idea the speaker is arguing. And the one after it is the counter idea. So when he asks in question number 6 and says, in each extract, what is the speaker arguing against? So he's asking about the earlier idea after what he's going to argue against. So what is the speaker arguing against? It means the earlier idea. The idea, the sentence before the word or phrase counter arguing. So despite that is a counter arguing word or phrase. The sentence, the underlined sentence before it, some people are worried that nuclear power is a big risk, is what the speaker is arguing against. Number 2, some people say that nuclear energy does not pollute the air, but that's not completely true. This is a counter argument word or phrase, but that's not completely true. The earlier idea is what the speaker is arguing against. And the idea or the sentence after it is the counter argument. Number 3, some people think that solar or wind energy are greener than nuclear energy. However, is counter argument word. The word before it is what the speaker is arguing against. And the sentence after it is the counter argument sentence. Now, exercise 7, you can do that as a role play between your colleagues or between your brothers and sisters at home. Imagine that you are members of a town council and you are meeting to discuss a nuclear power plant near your city. Each one of you is a member of a town council and you are discussing together presence of this nuclear power plant near your city. Please, at the first, work alone and decide first whether you are with or against the nuclear power plant. Inside you, decide, are you with or against without telling anyone? And give reasons, give justification, explanation. Why are you with or against? And prepare this in a note. And then take turns in this role play and express your opinion. Are you with or against? And justify and give the reasons. And then take turns. Each one in the group is going to mention his opinion, either with or against, with the justification, with the reason. And then at the end, try to agree on a decision. either with or against using nuclear power plants. You can do that as a home practice or as a practice with your colleagues. And please do not forget to use counter argument words or phrases. Thank you very much and wish you a good day.